I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, July the 17th. And are these packers going to end up short bought again while we're still in the middle of all these heavy market ready supplies? It looks like it's possible here because last week's total volume of negotiated feedlot sales was very light, lighter than we thought. I'd said earlier it was going to be under 100,000, but it was barely half of that. But let's look at the board for Monday. Your board was up good. It's what we were looking for a week ago Monday, after the 4th of July holiday and all the excitement that went on through there in the sharply higher fat cattle market. This is what we were wanting a week ago. But you know how the board works. August live cattle futures up $2.37 to end the day at 106.92. October up 127 at 108.65. August feeder cattle up 165 at 152.37, and October up 127 at 152.62. The weighted average on last week's fat cattle trade in the 5-area feeding region on a negotiated basis was only 50,400 head. That is less than a third of what it was the week before, the holiday week. That week it was 152,200. Same week a year ago was 99,000. So extremely light movement there on a negotiated basis in your 5 areas. Your market was mostly $1 to $3 lower live from 109 to 111. Your weighted average price was 110.50. That's $2.13 lower than the previous week's weighted average. Dress trade mostly $5 to $7 lower, from 173 to 175, a few regionals up to 177, but your weighted average was 174.05 on a dress steer in the 5 areas, $4.72 lower than the week before's weighted average. Now nationwide, if you go outside the 5 areas and include that, still sold less than 55,000, very light trade. 9,800 of those was for the 15 to 30 day delivery, so not a whole lot of that going on, enough to change up the way we're doing things. But if you listen to my weekly summary that was released there on Monday, he said that, or I told you that, you know, $40 was as far as you could back some of these cattle up. These expensive yearling feeders that guys are putting into the feedlot, they're kind of blowing their brains out on them. Although they're the best feeding cattle of the whole year, they will gain the most, they're the greenest and the best condition to go on. And we're going to be getting into the fall months, which it'll be cool in the evenings and the mornings, and cattle tend to feed really well during that time, and then they get to warm up and lay around and enjoy the day. But you look at, I'm gonna show you a good friend of mine that's in the business. He contacted me on Monday and told me, you know better than that, and kind of straightened me out on that, and maybe I ought to go in and talk about some of that so it doesn't seem quite so crazy. But in McCook, Nebraska on Monday, they sold a 300 head string weight 883 pounds at 160.10. That's similar to what they were doing in Bassett and Valentine places last week. And you figure that up, $1,413 a head. But you know, look at that, 883 pounds at 160.10. You think that ain't high? They had a jag of 568 pound steers in there, same quality, bring 160. So that goes to show you how wild they're getting on some of these big green yearlings off grass. But like this guy was telling me, and I know, but I keep forgetting that they can do that. They're not taking those cattle to 1,400 or 1,500. They're taking those cattle to 1,700. You know, and they say, well, that's not good for the industry. Oh, it's too big. It doesn't fit the box and all that. No, the packers lead you into that. There's places you can go. There's no penalty for that. Regional packers in that Midwestern area will take those cattle at no discount. They may not give all the bells and whistles and all the premiums to them on some of the other programs, but they will take those cattle at no discount at the market. Well, and let's say we talked about a 50-cent gain on the wildest dream and a 60-cent gain yesterday. Let's go with a 55-cent gain on another 850 pounds, starting out at 850 pounder. Let's double their weight. And an 850 pound steer is nothing to sneeze at. but that'll cost you $468. And then you add that on to the total price it costs, $1,413. Now you're up to $1,881. Well, the best thing that's going on right now is if you feed those cattle longer, you get into a better market. You go out to February, your board's in there 116 and change. Let's say we can lock those in, and we're going to count on a $1.17. $1.17 on a 1,700 pound steer is almost $2,000. And so you've got over $100 profit right there. And that's the way the guys are getting out on this. So yes, you can back one up $50 a hundred if you do everything right and feed them until they're hippopotamuses, and some of those better cattle like that, they won't quit you. They'll keep going. We're a calf fed that they're going to be taking delivery of this fall and early next year. Those calf feds are kind of slow feeding, and they will quit you, 1,400 pounds. But those long yearlings got a little age to them and a lot of green background there. You can keep pouring the meat to them, keep pouring the feed. But let's look at your feeder markets on Monday there. Your real-time index late in the day was sitting at 146.77, down 38 cents. Oklahoma City had a pretty decent run, 6,250 head. Feeder steers steady to $5 lower than last week. Feeder heifers are kind of uneven. Calves in a light test were lower. Joplin at 7,400. I tell you what, it's getting so dry in Missouri there, and even southern Missouri, but all over that area that the guys are having to move cattle. Now they normally would move cattle because the fescue's so rank, but the fescue's dry and just non-existent, just twigs sitting up there, and guys are running out of water, and it is really starting to get serious. But Joplin had 7,400 head on Monday. Calves were $2 to $5 lower. Where are they going to put one? And yearlings $1 to $4 lower. Now Joplin just got done having a big primetime video at 4th of July. They've got another one this Thursday, expecting 10,000 yearlings on the primetime video this Thursday at 1 o'clock. And talking about that Missouri drought, I've got a lot of ties to Missouri. Talked to a lot of guys. It's extremely dry all over the state, with the exception of maybe the Boot Hill, but that's where they do most of the farming in the state. And I was talking to a friend of mine who works with the state of Missouri Department of Agriculture. He says there are guys with big strings of cattle that have run out of grass, they've run out of water, and they're looking for a place to move those cows. And their pairs in some cases, bred cows, but they are looking for a place to go to keep those cattle through the winter at least, and so they can kind of get their pastures back in place. They don't have any hay. The hay stockpiles are really low. Some of you guys in Kentucky, places that have had some rain, have got some grass, places like that. These guys are looking for a place that can handle several cattle, and they're willing to give up more than half of their calf crop for it. Just to have a place. They want to keep their genetics together. They want to keep their cow herd together. They're just looking for a place to go. And there's deals like that out there. I know some of you guys are bound to be somebody out there that's got a lot of grass out there and could support cattle. And you might want to find out about some of those deals, because they're sure out there. But look at an individual quote on Monday. Bluegrass Stockyards in Kentucky. Stanford Bluegrass Stockyard South sold 123 head of steers, weighed 907 at $150, and that's in Kentucky, boys. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.